Hey, everybody. Welcome. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. We got a big announcement, big show for you today. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what's going on, gang. Wait for a few more people to get in here. It's Fishing Booker Thursday. And we got this is a big show today. Should have a giant audience. My goodness. What is going on up in Eureka, gang? What the heck is going on? We got tsunami warnings. I don't know if you all are paying attention. We just got hit an hour and a half ago by they're calling it a magnitude 7.0 earthquake. I'm doing everything I can to try to figure out everything that's going on right now. It's a big one. This is one of the biggest ones that hits California in a very, very long time. We're going to do our best to try to inform everybody. I know a lot of you are at work. You probably don't even know. But at, what are they saying? At 10:45, right outside the city of Petrolia, 50 miles from Eureka, they're calling it right now a 7.0. I'm not sure how big this thing is, but we have a tsunami warning in effect for Southern California. Gang, it's a big deal. We're going to do our best to try to inform everybody what's going on. But if you know anything about anybody, we'll take any information we can get from everybody. This is a big earthquake, gang, and this is what we've been afraid of in California for a very long time. When you get an earthquake of this magnitude, I grew up in Southern California my whole life. We've been dealing with earthquakes our whole life, but this is a whopper. They're calling it a 7.0. That is very, very large. I don't know really what's going on. I can't put news clips up on the screen. I can't do any of that because that'll get us taken down in a split second. But I wanted to let everybody know that's watching the show, because a lot of the people that watch our show, this show goes live every day, Monday through Saturday. A lot of you are at work. So I know a lot of you don't even know what's going on. This is a giant tsunami located just 50 miles outside of Eureka, California. This could be devastating for Southern California. If you've ever been through a tsunami, those of you that have boats in the harbors up and down the California coast, you definitely want to get down there to the marinas, get these things tied up a little bit better, maybe even move them. Maybe even go offshore for a while and relax. But this is a big earthquake, gang. This is a big one. Those of you that are watching the show right now, you can go grab as much information as you can and let us know on the comments of what's really going on. I personally cannot grab news clips because that'll take us off the air immediately. And we do this podcast Monday through Saturday. So we don't want to be pulled down. But I thought it was my duty. It was up to me to let everybody know, because we have such a large audience that tunes into us every day at lunchtime. So I would suggest that most of you, especially those of you with boats up and down the California coast, they're calling for a tsunami. If you haven't ever seen what happens in a tsunami, it's not like TV. We don't have this giant wave. What you have is like a storm surge, what you guys have in Texas or in Florida when you have a hurricane. The storm surge is what the tsunami looks like, all right? It's not a giant tidal wave like you see in the movies. A storm surge will take all the water out of the harbor, then it will rush back in like you can't even comprehend. And that massive movement of water is what does the damage. So if you have a boat in a harbor up or down the California coast, I would very, 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 very much suggest doing your due diligence, getting down there, maybe taking the boat out for a cruise today. The thing about a tsunami, gang, is it does not affect you once you're off the beach. It will not affect you in any way, shape, or form. But if you're in the marina, this will have a devastating effect on you. The last time we went through a tsunami in Southern California, there's a bunch of videos floating around on YouTube. You guys can go check them out. It was unbelievable. The movement of water, the mass, and it wasn't a tsunami. Excuse me, it wasn't an earthquake of this magnitude. This is a giant earthquake, gang. Now, I'm looking on Google and I'm Googling what's going on, and they're saying it's a 7.0. Then other newses are saying it's a 6.6. All right, let's say it's only a 6.6. That's a massive earthquake, everybody. That is a big earthquake. This is your saltwater guide. So I think it's up to me to let you all know how important it is to get your boats into a position where they can be safe. If your boat is tied up in a marina from San Francisco to Ensenada, I would definitely think about, hey, grab some sandwiches and get on the boat and go out for a ride until sunset tonight anyway. Yeah, this is bigger than the Trump win. You're absolutely right, Devo. This is a massive, massive movement of water. Massive movement of water. Yeah, okay, they canceled it, but that doesn't mean anything. Remember, this is a massive movement of water. It can happen. As we move along here, as we keep watching the news and paying attention, gang, this is your boat. I can't tell you what to do with your boat. I can't. Pay attention to the Coast Guard, pay attention to NOAA, pay attention to whoever you want, or pay attention to yourself. What's the harm in taking your boat and going out for a ride this afternoon? What's the harm? If that water movement happens, it is incredible. The amount of water that flows in and out of your bays and your harbors. Is anybody seeing anything about San Francisco? What's going on there? You can leave a report up here. Reports in from Port of Wainimi Beach, tsunami warnings have been canceled. Okay, well, all I know is what I'm reading. All I know is what I'm here to tell you, gang. When there's a tsunami warning, when there's an earthquake of that size, how can they cancel the tsunami warning in 15 minutes? It just happened an hour and a half ago. So really? They've already canceled the tsunami warning? That's pretty amazing. I hope they're willing to pay you all off, your insurance. I hope that whoever canceled the tsunami warning is willing to pay everybody when your boat gets destroyed at the dock. All right. I just hope that, all right, they canceled the tsunami warning. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. That seems kind of strange to me. But then again, I don't know if any of you have been alive for the last 8 or 9 or 10 years, but the media's had a kind of a problem telling the truth. So be very careful who you're listening to. Be very careful. If it's your boat and you got no problem letting it get all thrashed in the marinas, that's up to you. That's all I'm here to do is tell you, when we went live a few minutes ago, there was a tsunami warning. There was a 6.6 or 7.0, depending on who you're listening to. Earthquake off of Eureka. Okay? Tsunami warning has been issued. This was 41 minutes ago they issued the tsunami warning, and now they're already telling you there's no tsunami warning. That's kind of weird. I'm just letting you know. And you're welcome for the fish ID. Oh, well, God, if you heard it on Fox, then it's got to be true, Steve. I mean, for goodness sakes, the media has never lied to us. So if you heard it on Fox, it's got to be true. I'm just reading through here. Different TV stations, different radio stations, different news outlets are saying all kinds of different things. I'm refreshing as we go, but you guys all got to do your due diligence here. This is a big deal. This is a big deal for California when an earthquake of this size. And fishingbooker.com, thank you very much for allowing us to go live every Thursday and talk about this. What happens, Jeanette, is the water moves. The cam's not going to show it. All of a sudden, the water's just going to take off, and it's going to start pouring out of the bay, and it's just going to happen like that. And then it's going to turn around, and it's all going to come back in. And if you look, Devin Cruz, you're very familiar with this. If you look at marinas like Crescent City, places like that got devastated by the big tsunami from Japan, you can go and watch, or Santa Cruz, another great marina that you can go look at some footage of the tsunamis when they happen. What I'm trying to tell you, gang, is it's not a tidal wave. That's not what this looks like. It doesn't look like the Poseidon Adventure when you were kids. It's not a big wave. What it is just a massive surge of water, when you have that much shaking of the seabed floor, which Eureka's right there on the coast, when you have that much shaking, it's absolutely hard for me to imagine that there's not going to be some type of massive water movement. Okay, so all I can tell you is when we went live, I'm going by the news that I'm reading, that there was a tsunami warning. Now, if they canceled the tsunami warning, great, perfect. That's awesome. I don't trust them, though. Let's be honest. I don't trust them. So you guys can do your due diligence, go and look. You're not going to see it on an offshore buoy. That's not how this is going to work. That's not how it's going to work. It is like a storm surge in a hurricane, gang. And that water will just leave the harbor. You go look at some videos from Dana Point Harbor, the last tsunami we had, and you watch that water movement. There were 80 and 90-foot boats that could not maneuver as the water was moving. I remember we all had to take our boats out of the harbor and get as far away from the harbor as we could, which would be 2 or 3 miles off the beach, and just go out there and hang out. Right now, with the massive amount of whales in the water, it'd be a great afternoon to go whale watching. What do you have to lose? Well, you got a lot to lose if you have a boat. If those docks start breaking up and things start happening, yeah, it's a massive amount of water displacement. So I'm looking again. I've just refreshed my iPad, and they're saying 6.6 kind of is what they're sticking with right now. 50 miles outside of Eureka. Where Eureka's right on the coast. That isn't what's going. Did I lose you? Can you guys hear me still? Everybody? Anybody? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Anybody hear this? Anybody hear this? Anybody? Nobody? Nobody can hear me? Nobody can hear me. You haven't heard anything about this? I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Google it. Google it, gang. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, and I understand the way the media has lied to everybody over the last 10 years, I understand you. I understand that. Thank you, everybody. Okay, good. I understand that you're like, I didn't hear anything about, well, Google it. Don't listen to me. Google it. This is a massive earthquake that just at 10:45 this happened. Whew. I'm sorry. I'm fired up here because I went through the one that went through Dana Point and did all the damage and busted the bait barge in half and busted Nacho's bait barge and busted a bunch of stuff and took all the docks out of Crescent City. And if you look at the boats at Santa Cruz that thought tsunami warning's over, there's nothing to worry about. The devastation when you see one boat going through the docks that's not tied up and it's going through tonnage and it's just getting pushed by all that water, it's absolutely unbelievable. I don't know if any of you, Mike, any of you guys up there in the Ventura area, did you feel the earthquake? Because that's a massive earthquake. Yeah, Crescent City got smashed 10 years ago. And a lot of those people didn't heed warning to the tsunami. They just were like, yeah, I don't see anything. I looked on the buoys. There's nothing. Yeah, because that's not what it does. It's not a wave like you guys are thinking. A tsunami is not a wave. It is a surge. It is a basic storm surge, for lack of a better. And if you're not believing what I'm telling you, all you got to do is Google this, gang, or go look on YouTube at all the videos of the tsunami. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How can you cancel a tsunami warning an hour after the earthquake? I would be very suspect. If I owned a boat, I would definitely go for a ride this afternoon. But you can do whatever you want. Just remember, though, if it does come and it happens, and you're like, Fox News told me it wasn't going to happen. Well, that's great. Good for them. I'm great. Are they going to pay for your boat and all the damage? Are they going to pay for everything? Are they going to pay for all the damage that's going to happen? No, no. So be very, very careful for the rest of the day today if you have a boat in a harbor. And Devin Cruz, you are a Coast Guard guy. Give me some type of an idea of how they can cancel a tsunami warning an hour after a 7.0 earthquake. That's hard for me to believe. Nope, not down here, we don't. But we've been having a lot of earthquakes in Cabo, a lot. And they've never had earthquakes down here. We've had quite a few here. Yeah, it caused a pretty big storm surge up and down the coast. Yeah, insurance is a great thing until it's not. Insurance is wonderful until it's time to pay. They are wonderful, Jeanette, when we have to write our checks to them. But when it's time for them to write a check back to us, it's very, very suspect. And I don't know. You got it. I'd be looking at my policy, seeing if I have tsunami coverage, because insurance companies didn't get big by paying claims, baby. That's not how they made their money. They didn't make their money by paying claims. And the first thing they're going to look at is, well, this was caused by a tsunami. We don't have to pay Mike Lewis. Okay, I'm just letting you know. It's a beautiful, the weather is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful afternoon for a cruise. I would definitely go check it out. The thing is, gang, what I keep trying to tell everybody, it's not a tidal wave. The tsunami tidal wave that you saw on TV when you were little kids watching Poseidon Adventure, stuff like that, that's not what a tsunami is. It's like a storm surge. And you're not even going to know. No magical things are going to happen. The buoy's not going to go up and down 100 feet because that's not what this is. It's the water's going to move like you can't even comprehend. All of a sudden, you're going to be standing there in your marina, and the water's going to leave the marina. It's just going to be like they pulled the plug in the bathtub. All the water will leave, then look out, because that water's coming back, and that's where the damage occurs. When that water comes flooding back into these harbors and marinas and bays, it's pretty amazing. If you have never seen it before, while we're talking, just look it up. If you have another device, look it up on YouTube and look at what I'm talking about. But then again, something we're not talking about, how much damage was done up there, because there had to be some phenomenal damage done. If anybody's up in that zone and can report and let us know anything about what's going on, please put a report up. Leave it on the comments. Let us know what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're looking at. Because we're all just sitting here trying to figure this thing out too. Every one of us, myself included, I don't know what the heck's going on. I live in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. All I know is what I read. And I read when I went live 20 minutes ago, there was a tsunami warning. Now there's no tsunami warning. Very, very crazy. Very crazy. Yeah, but I read what you're saying, Devin, but this is a 7.0 earthquake or 6.6. That's massive. If that hit LA, baby, most of LA would be flattened. There's so much stuff coming through, and I'm trying to decipher, as all of you are, as we're on here live right now. I know this is a fishing show, and I know we're supposed to talk about fishing, but this is a big event because it happened along the coastline. The tsunami warning was real, and less than an hour ago, it was real. So how they pull it down, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody on here's what do they call them? Tsunamiologist or something. Okay, you're under a tsunami warning. All right, you're closer up there, Brent. Brent, did you feel the earthquake? Because you're up there in the Monterey Bay area. And that bay, when this thing starts to happen in your bay, it's going to be devastating when that water moves out of Monterey Bay and then comes flooding back in there. So Let us know. Did you feel anything up there? Sea Wolf, I know who you are, but the people that are reading it, Sea Wolf 13. Anybody feel anything? I can't imagine you didn't feel it. Yeah, you felt it? Okay. What was it like? Let us know. Talk about it. What was it like? How gnarly was it? Did it keep going and going? Was it a quick jolt? Was it a slow motion? They lost all their docks, Devo, because what was really gnarly was I was doing a delivery from Puget Sound down to Marina Del Rey, and I thought I could go in there one night and just get size mileage. Thank you. I thought I could just go in there like I normally do, doing a delivery, and slide in and tie up to the pump out dock or something. We got in there, and all there was pilings. It looked like a porcupine was in there. There were just pilings bent all over the place. That Crescent City, that's a very small bay. And when the water left and when the water came back, it devastated the bay. It's crazy. And what I'm having a hard time understanding this tsunami thing. So maybe one of the seismologists that are on here or somebody can explain to us how you can have an earthquake of that size and an hour later call off the tsunami warning. That's crazy to me, gang. I'm just trying to do the best I can and try to let everybody know what's going on. You guys do your own research like we try to tell you all the time as far as the fishing closures and all the other things that are going on that the media lies to you about all the time. I would definitely do my own homework, especially if I own a boat and I have it in the water in a marina, anywhere from Crescent City to the Mexican border. I would definitely do my own research and try to figure out what's really going on. Because now, if you have a small boat in the harbor, the chance of your boat ripping off and busting the dock up and stuff isn't very likely. But the other boats, the big giant boats that are in your harbor, the 80, 90, 200-foot long boats, they will break their lines and they will start sliding through the harbor and they will start destruction and they will start a massive mess. If you look at the videos for the last tsunami that came through Southern California, there's a ton of videos on YouTube. I would love to show them to you, but I don't want to get demonetized and I don't want to get pulled off the air. Do your own due diligence, gang. It's your boat. It's not mine. It's not Fox News's boat. It's not CNN's boat. It's your boat. You need to do your due diligence to find out what's the best move. Like Jeanette said, got good insurance. Do you, though? We really don't know how good our insurance is until we have to use it. And does the boat that's flying through the harbor with the tsunami, with that storm surge, does he have good insurance? That's another way for them to get out of it. Slide to the left. We had nothing to do with that. The boat that smashed into you, they got to cover you. Well, that guy doesn't have any insurance to cover other boats because he didn't pay his insurance because he doesn't have any money. There's just too many scenarios that don't look right. When that Dana, I only know what I saw in Dana Point, and then I watched the other videos. But the Dana Point one, you couldn't even maneuver because of the water, the way the water was rushing in and out of the harbor. You were unmaneuverable. That's why they asked us all to leave. Like, I think we left the harbor at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then we all sat offshore till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And while we were offshore, that's when all the damage happened. That's when all of the stuff happened. And that was an earthquake that was in Japan. That wasn't an earthquake in California, right on the coast. So just be careful. All I'm trying to tell you is be careful. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful how you're gathering your information. And remember, these are the people that told you that if you got stabbed, it would stop this. And if you wore a paper diaper, it would stop this. And they have no problem lying. So I'd be very, very careful who I'm listening to. All right? I'm just saying, we've been living through this garbage of the of what's going on to us. Remember, 2.5 weeks ago, there was a girl that was going to be the president. They guaranteed it. So be careful who you're listening to, gang. Just be careful. I'm just telling you from experience, being on the water my whole life. When there's a 6.6 earthquake or a 7.0, or what are they saying it is now? Anybody watching this right now? I'm trying to Google back on there. All right, perfect. Then let it rip. Let it destroy everything. Let it have at it. But does anybody, are you guys looking? Is it still at 6.6, 7.0? What are they saying the earthquake was now? There's no wave ever. It's just water movement like a storm surge. Like go look at the Indonesia. That Indonesia one, that'll show you exactly what it looks like. I think that earthquake was right around 7.0 or 7.4 or something like that. Go look at that water movement in Indonesia. Those people listened to the news and they were all standing on the beach when it came. They were all standing on the beach. And they're not even with us anymore, gang. Go look at that Indonesia one. Go Google that or YouTube that or check that one out and tell me about how right they were. There's no way to stop it. The water just comes. 7.3, 7.0 is what they're saying right now. 7. That's a massive earthquake, you guys. To think that there's no tsunami coming from that, I think you're probably believe in Santa Claus too. You're probably making the roof all ready for when the sleigh comes to put the presents down the chimney. I don't know if I would just be kind of hanging out. 7.0. Okay, gang, that is a massive earthquake. News still showing 7.0. Okay, that ought to scare the crap out of you if you got a boat in a harbor anywhere. It's a good day to go whale watching. A lot of you are asking, why aren't you bringing up news? Because we don't want to get demonetized. We don't want to get pulled down. We don't want to lose our channel. I'm just giving you information and everybody's sharing information on here. But gang, the information is real. What we're telling you, and if you look at the comments, I'm just telling you, 7.0 is a massive earthquake that happened on the coast. So that water's going somewhere. It's going. There's no way around it. That water's going to get moved around pretty violently. It's going to get moved around pretty amazingly. So just all I'm saying is be careful. If you're cool with your stuff getting destroyed, that's fine too. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. If you're good with your stuff getting destroyed, that's great. Yay. Make sure that you know every single thing that's on your boat, though. Think about that. Every single thing on your boat you're willing to lose right now, that's cool. That's cool. I'm good with that. If it's your boat. If it's my boat, here's what I'm doing. If I'm in Southern California and I'm in charge of your boat, I'm your captain, or I'm running a boat, I'm just going out for a ride. I'm going to go out whale watching for a few hours. Let this thing figure itself out. I'll keep the news on. I'll keep whatever's on. I'll keep an eye on it. But I'm going for a ride. That's just me, though. And what do I know? I've just done this my whole life. So, yeah. 7.0. The United States Coast Guard's calling it a 7.0. All right. I don't know. The United States GS, whatever that is. There's a earthquake in Redding. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I never can call my son in Tahoe and find out if he felt it or not. Hopefully he's watching the show up in Tahoe. I don't think they have to worry too much about a tsunami. But this is a pretty amazing size earthquake. Now, what does that do to fishing? Gives us a phenomenal excuse as a captain for why the fish aren't biting. Oh my God, that's terrible, Brent. That is absolutely terrible. But he was diving in the harbor, and the law says don't dive in the harbor. So it's too scary in the harbor unless you're a guy like you that has all those years of experience. This kid's he's not even as old as you. You've been diving longer than that kid's been alive. Diving in that harbor is pretty gnarly. There's all kinds of stuff that can grab you and hold you underwater. That's kind of scary. But as far as fishing goes, after an earthquake, I've talked about it many times. I've seen fishing very, very good after earthquake. I've seen fishing very, very bad during an earthquake. I've seen fishing phenomenally horrible for weeks after an earthquake. It's hard to say what's going to happen as far as the fishing goes. It's hard to say what's going to happen. I'm just trying to read some of the comments as they come in. It's hard to say what's going to happen here. It's really hard to say, but it's a big earthquake. That 7.0, just research it. Go look at some of the places that a 7.0 earthquake has hit. Not a lot of things left standing after that. Not a lot of things left standing. But the amount of water that got moved around up there off Eureka, whew, that ought to make the lobsters crawl, though. Shake that ground up, man. They're running for cover. They don't know what the heck's going on. Maybe that'll help our lobster crawl. I'm putting the game plans together. Most of them I already put out. I didn't even put out anything about an earthquake because when I was putting the game plans together this morning, there was no earthquake. It happened at 10:45. Those of you that are listening, at 10:45, off 50 miles outside of Eureka, California, a 7.0 earthquake. That is a massive earthquake. If it was 200 miles south around the LA area, that would level LA. It would be absolutely devastating. So just be super careful. That's all I can say. Be careful out there. Be careful with your boats. Be careful who you're listening to. Maybe if you don't have time, you got to go to work or something, maybe go down and throw a couple extra lines on the boat when that thing starts, if the water does start to move. I don't know. All I know is in my 63 years on the planet, 7.0 was the one that they talked about when we were in grammar school. Dave Burris, Devin Cruz, Dan Smith. They used to tell us about a 7.0 that's going to come to California, and it's going to be devastating. Well, we just got a piece of it. It didn't hit Southern California, but it hit Northern California, gang. And we've had a lot of earthquakes down here in Cabo. Kelly and I haven't talked about it on the show, but I'll bet you we've had 10 or 15 earthquakes here so far this year. And most of the kids that work for us and stuff, they're in their 30s. I call them kids. I know they're adults, but they've never even felt an earthquake. So there's something's going on. The ground's moving around. One of our members is just saying there was just an earthquake up off of Redding right now. Question for Dave. Were you in the Dana Point Harbor on the wildest actor? Yeah, I was there. And it was pretty amazing. That was pretty damn amazing. We all went out. That was in 2015, though, not 2011. 2015. Because the Helena got to Wahoo that day. We all had to leave the harbor and go out there. And we were like 4 or 5 miles off the beach. My boss came down to the boat and we left and we went tuna fishing and we caught a bunch of yellowfin that day. But I know Calvin Cooper was on the Helena. They were kind of just hanging out in front of the harbor and they got 2 nice Wahoo that day. And then we talked to Jeff on the bait barge and he was calling for assistance because the amount of water came pouring out of that harbor. It broke the bait barge in half. And then the water came pouring back in and it started breaking docks apart. And there were some big yachts that did not come out of the harbor that were in the harbor. And it moved a lot of stuff around. But like Devin Cruz and I were talking about, Crescent City, every single dock in Crescent City was removed instantly by the tsunami. If you go and you want to see a really wild video, go look at the tsunami when it hit Santa Cruz. That is just the most amazing thing, because everybody was hanging out in the marina. They're all hanging out. They didn't heed the warning and 35, 40-foot long boats came rushing into the harbor, and those 25-foot boats tied up to the docks, these 30 and 40-foot yachts just came barreling through there, not by the engines or anything, by the water movement, and just devastated the docks, the boats that were tied to the docks. Absolutely incredible. So I just thought it was my duty to let everybody know what's going on. Yeah, I know those videos you guys shot in front of the Wind and Sea in Dana Point were absolutely amazing that day. There were so many great videos. And if I was up there where Brent is right now, I'd be going in my car, getting up the coast a little bit farther to make some videos, because you're going to get some really good videos, some crazy, amazing things. Now, nothing will ever chase the sea lions away, Tim. Nothing will. You know, it could make those lobsters crawl, Matt. I know that didn't crawl last night, but they could crawl today, because there's going to be a massive amount of water moving. So it would make them crawl. Yeah, all of a sudden it's like the plug gets pulled on the bathtub and all the water rushes out of the harbor. And you're like, yeah, but CNN said it wasn't going to happen. Sorry. Sorry. And when it happens, there's absolutely not one thing you can do except get as far away from it as you can. Because that water, there is nothing that stops that water. There's nothing stops that water from moving. Not a wall, not a fence, not a dock, not a beautiful yacht. When that water goes, it goes, baby, and nothing's going to stop it. Look at the Japan. You guys watched that. I watched it in the middle of the night. I couldn't even believe that water. That was what they call a tsunami. It wasn't a big wave. It was just water that moved, and it moved, I don't know, what did they say, 40 miles inland? Now, how big was that earthquake? Almost 8, right? That was one that was almost 8. So it wasn't that far behind a 7. And people got caught with their pants down. They didn't heed the warning. So just remember, gang, if nothing happens, great. How cool is that? Nothing happened. But if something happens, remember, you were warned. You were told that it can happen, and it could happen quick, and there's nothing you can do about it. So all I can do is tell you that history does repeat itself. Go watch some of the videos they'll scare the crap out of you, but they'll make you also stand up and go, wow, 7.0, look at this 5.0 or this 6.5 that did all this damage in Eureka and did all this damage in Crescent City. I'm just here to tell you, if you don't know that there was a massive earthquake off of Eureka, I'm here to tell you about it. If you don't know what happens, Google what happens after a massive earthquake hits a coastline anywhere. Anywhere. Just go look. Don't trust me. I wouldn't trust me if I was you. I would go look for myself and see. And you'll go, whoa, that is an absolute amazing amount of water. Once again, though, I want to thank fishingbooker.com. If it wasn't for fishingbooker.com, we couldn't do this live show every day. And we do this live show every single day for the last 5 years. Live. Yes, live. Tomorrow, big show. Paul Hebert. If you guys don't know who Paul is, he's from Wicked Tuna. He's one of my really good friends. He's going to join us tomorrow on the show. Paul Hebert's got a lot to talk about. where the show is headed, what's he been doing, how's the giant bluefin tuna fishing, what's going on with the wind farms that are absolutely devastating the fishing on the East Coast and wiping out the whales. All that will be talked about tomorrow on the show at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at Your Saltwater Guide, the podcast. This is a live podcast. This is the only live podcast in America 6 days a week. It's live. We don't edit a thing. You see everything live. We do the live fishing shows. Yesterday, my gosh, Justin was live fishing for 8 hours. We had over 30,000 people watch that live fishing show yesterday. And I know not constant for the whole 8 hours. That weren't on there watching it the whole time. But over 30,000 people came in and came out of his live show yesterday. Now, we're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube every single day. Also, Your Saltwater Guide puts out 3 brand new videos across every social media platform: X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I have a ton of content. You can all go and watch it. Those of you that are watching us on YouTube, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. You can go, subscribe, follow us, watch us, like it. It will help me out tremendously. It'll help out my beautiful wife. What's that animal jumping around behind me? That's my monkey. That's Marley. Look at him. Look at it. That's Marley, the marmoset monkey. He's the coolest little dude. Okay, I know. Just wanted to show everybody. You go back in there and hang out. He's madder than heck. He was eating a banana back there. But somebody said, what is that behind you? That's my little baby monkey. That's name's Marley. He's not a baby. He's 5 years old. He's a marmoset monkey. We raised him. We saved him down here in Mexico where we live because he was living with a family that I don't believe in having primates as pets, but somebody needed to save Marley. So we saved him. He lives with us. He won the lottery living at our house. He spends all day with me on my shoulder. But back to the tsunami. I'm sorry. Somebody asked what that animal was. Back to the tsunami. Those of you that are just tuning in, we got a big audience. 7.0 earthquake hit Eureka, 50 miles south of Eureka. Big, giant earthquake. When we went live on the show 50 minutes ago, they were calling for a massive tsunami warning. And I can't believe that they called it off already. That's crazy. How can you do that? Somebody needs to let me know. Yeah, I know. She hates it when I grab him, Devin. She hates it when he's trying to have fun. But you want to check out what's going on. You want to see those of you that are just tuning in going, what the hell's going on? What happened to Kelly? Kelly had some super important things to do today, Mike, and I'll tell you about it later. But it's all good. She's good. Everything's good. But she didn't make it on the show today. You know how much she loves being on here. So, yeah, she didn't make it on the show today. So, gang, all I can tell you is you need to do your due diligence. You need to find out what's going on. If you have any friends or family or anything up there, 150 miles northwest of Mendocino Bay is where this thing was at. Okay, if you have any friends or family up in that area, let us know. Leave a comment on the side here. Let us know if you know what's going on up there. Did anybody get hurt? Did we lose any buildings? What's going on up in that zone? No one so far has reported anything. Are you, Jeanette or Dave or Matt or Mike, or has anybody seen anything on the news talking about any devastation up there? Anybody got any more stuff to talk about as far as what is going on up in that zone? It's got to be pretty scary up there right now. That is a massive, massive earthquake. I know there's a lot of people that live in that zone. There's a lot of cool stuff up in that zone. I'd love to know what's going on. I cannot pull news clips up and put them on the show. So all I have to go by is what those of you that are watching the show right now can tell us. And what are you watching? You're watching Your Saltwater Guide, the live podcast we do 6 days a week, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you've never seen us, it's very entertaining. We bring in special guests. We're bringing in the great Paul Hebert tomorrow from Wicked Tuna. We've had Dave Burris, one of the best rod builders in the business, on the show. I've had so many great people on the show, but today is a very, very crazy day because of this earthquake and this tsunami. That's kind of what's taken up the whole thing today. But normally this is a fishing podcast. We talk about fishing. We talk about where to fish, how to fish, and what to fish for in Southern California and beyond. And we bring in lots of big guests, lots of people that most of you would be very familiar with. We bring in people in the weather industry. Chris Dunn's been on the show many times. He's a meteorologist used to be on the news in San Diego. Now he's on the news in Arizona. We bring in Tito Ortiz, MMA fighter, good friend of the show. He's been on the show many times. We bring in all the big names in the fishing industry, all the big names that those of you always wondered about. They come on the show all the time. We're constantly doing this show live 6 days a week, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock, Saturdays at 9 a.m. And you can all tune in. And then we're also available on Spotify, Megaphone, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. You guys can follow us along. If you're looking for content, you need something to listen to, follow along with us. We have so many great podcasts. We have over 600 podcasts available on Spotify and Mega and Apple. You can just tune in there, type it in if you're traveling. I guarantee you it's entertaining. It's fun. You guys have been missing out on some really cool podcasts. The one thing that you won't ever get on here, though, is lies. We only tell the truth. We only tell the truth. I'm telling you, this earthquake, which is where the earthquake is closer, did a lot of research for I wonder what that would do. You're absolutely right. I wonder what that would do to the wind turbines out there. That's kind of something that needs to be addressed, because I don't think that concrete and that steel that they build them with, I don't think it's very flexible. And I'm just letting you know, we have a massive audience today. So I'm just letting you know, we're here every single day at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Most of our fans and our followers like to watch it at lunchtime because we're coming out of Southern California, basically. But I know we got people watching all over the world right now. This is the biggest audience we've ever had. So I want to thank you all very, very much for watching this show today. And I want to thank fishingbooker.com. If you ever need a fishing boat anywhere on the planet Earth to go fishing on, you want to go out on a great charter, all you got to do is type in fishingbooker.com on your computer, your laptop, your telephone, and you'll be blown away. They have charter boats available wherever you're at. All of our boats that are involved in our live fishing shows and my family business in Dana Point, you're at Dana Orr Sport Fishing, everybody's involved with fishingbooker.com. So thank you, Fishing Booker, for allowing us to do this live show. We have a lot of great sponsors, but Thursday is fishingbooker.com Thursday. So thank you very much for being a sponsor. And then those of you that are wondering, how can you get the show? Live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube every single day. And then all your podcast carriers carry our show. And wherever you find your podcast, all you got to do is type in Your Saltwater Guide. Over 600 episodes. I guarantee you there's people on there you want to hear from. I guarantee you there's gonna be, wow, I had no idea this podcast is available with Tito Ortiz, and you can find out what it was like to fight Ken Shamrock. We talked to him about that. Miranda Adams, she runs a great charter boat business down in the Keys or down in Tampa Bay. So many people. Heather Smith Outdoors, 3-time contestant and finished 3 times on Naked and Afraid. She's been on the podcast many times. We bring in lots of cool guests, gang. So check out our podcast. And those of you that have just found us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I put out 3 brand new videos every single day that are super entertaining. We get 30 to 40 million views a month on just our silly little 1-minute videos, gang. There's a lot of cool things going on. And then at DanaWharfSportFishing.com, Donna Kalis, my sister, runs one of the greatest whale watch fishing companies on the planet Earth. Dana Point has been trademarked as the whale watch capital of the world. And she was on the news this morning, Channel 5. KTLA was showing all the humpback whales. Historic amount of humpbacks off of Dana Point right now. You can go whale watching with her. She's my sister, running a phenomenal operation. She was Woman of the Year for the state of California. These are the people that are involved in our podcast. These are the people that are involved in my life. Plus, if you look over on the side at all the comments, we got so many phenomenal people on here that are family members, like Dave Burris, like Mike, like Devin, like Jeanette, like Brent, like Tim, Darren, any of the people that are on here on the comments on the side. These people are here every day watching while they're at lunch. This is the biggest audience we've ever had. And I know it has to do with the earthquake, but I want to thank you all for tuning in and hoping that I would have something good to bring to the table. And I do. This tsunami thing is real. It's something to pay close attention to. We don't know if it's going to hit or not, but odds are in the tsunami's favor, definitely. They're not in our favor. When you have that big of a movement of water, when you have a 7.0 earthquake hit the beach, that is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Arnie. Yeah, my sister is an amazing human being. The amount of things she's got going on, the amount of employees she takes care of, the amount of give back she does for our industry, absolutely amazing. But gang, I cannot emphasize enough. If you have friends or loved ones up in that area, up in the Eureka area, you need to reach out, try to get a hold of them, try to find them. Try to see what's going on up there. Follow the news. Follow whatever you use to get your news. Be careful. I like to get my news online and decipher through it and find out. I would definitely suggest you doing your own due diligence. Don't listen to the lying media. I would definitely do my own due diligence to figure out what the hell's really going on. Reach out to some of the members that are on here that live up in the areas that they live in. Talk to each other, figure out what is really going on. A 7.0 earthquake. I'm 63 years old, and we were warned since we were little kids. I grew up in Southern California. That 7.0 was coming. It's always struck fear in our lives. It's always been a fearful thing to think of an earthquake that large hitting California and the devastation. It's crazy. Hold on one second. Hey, Rocky, can you go let Jay Bush in? He's knocking on the door. Yep. It's absolutely amazing. The size of this earthquake, gang. And when I saw it, right, I didn't even know what was going on, gang. I'm trying to put the game plans together because it's Game Plan Thursday for all the members of the website. They get a game plan to know where to go fishing. Yeah, that Silmar earthquake was 6.0, and that thing was devastating in LA. Absolutely devastating. But while I was putting the show together and putting the game plans together, Jamie Dimon up at Santa Barbara Sport Fishing posted that there was a 7.0 earthquake in Eureka. And I was like, what? I'm trying to put together this podcast. I'm trying to put together the game plans. I started doing some research, but I was trying to get everything going and get the live show going. And I was like, man, this is incredible. I'm learning about it while you are, gang. I'm learning about it as we're live here on the show. I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a seismologist. I'm just a guy that fishes for a living for the last 50 years that has a cool podcast and a big mouth and reaches a lot of people. But I'm learning as we go. And all I know is when I went live 60 minutes ago, there was a tsunami warning. During the show, they tell me the tsunami warning has been pulled down. Somebody, please, on the comments, let me know how can you do that? How do you know already? I would love that information. I would love to know how they know. And then I would ask them, what's the lottery numbers for the lottery tomorrow night? It's just absolutely amazing that you could call off a tsunami that fast. But maybe they're right. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about. I know I don't know. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about, but this has been a pretty insightful show. I've learned a lot from a lot of people reading your comments and talking to you. I don't really know what's going on out there. I don't really know what's going on up there. I'm just trying to put together the best show I could possibly put together for you guys today. Those of you that are new to the show's live 6 days a week for 1 hour. We do a live 1 hour show every day. We also, oh my gosh, that's right, Devin Cruz and I were on the Seahorse. And when that World Series earthquake happened in San Francisco, I remember we were watching the World Series on a little black and white TV. And I think Devin had to stand up on the overhead of the boat with a piece of foil sticking out of his butt and holding onto the antenna so I could see the game. It was kind of like that in the old days. And yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. Crazy. Whatever. I don't even know when the World Series earthquake was, but we were definitely on the Seahorse coming home from San Clemente Island. That is crazy, Dave Burris. That 1989. Yeah. We were coming home from San Clemente Island, and there was that big earthquake in San Francisco. Gang, all I can tell you is we're almost out of time here. Do your due diligence. Pay attention. Today's a huge day in California. This is a big earthquake. This is a big deal. It's bigger than anything I can remember happening in my lifetime. Dave Burris says 7.3 and 71. I was in 4th grade. I don't remember that one, but I know you're telling the truth. I don't remember it. 7.0, that's massive, massive earthquake. That's the one we've been warned about. Be careful out there. Make sure you're ready for whatever's going to happen this afternoon. Be kind to each other. Remember, find out what's really going on. Check yourself. Do not rely on the lying media. You do your own due diligence. This definitely has an effect on my audience because 90% of my audience is private boaters. They have boats in harbors up and down the California coast, Florida, Texas. Earthquake, giant earthquake. Those of you that are watching, giant earthquake. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, the great Paul Hebert from Wicked Tuna, Wicked Pissa, Paul will be with us live, and we'll be talking wind turbines, bluefin tuna, TV show, what he's doing with his life, how's his daughter, how's everything going in his life. We'll be talking about all that. I want you guys to be very, very careful out there today. Pay attention, help a friend, be kind to each other. This is a big day in Southern California, gang. I want to thank you all for coming here and watching our show today, being a part of this. Being a part of the family, paying attention, watching the comments, everybody. Share this video with all your friends, gang. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you like to watch social media. We're viral on every one. So it doesn't hurt my feelings if you only watch us on Facebook, or you only watch us on Instagram, or you only watch us on TikTok, or you only watch us on Threads, or you only watch us on X. I'm on every single platform, and I'm viral on all of them. So I just want you to watch me somewhere and watch those silly little 1-minute videos we put out every day, gang. Hit the subscribe button, the like button. All of you that are watching, I'm very entertaining. Even if you don't like to fish, my stuff's entertaining. It's funny. You'll get a lot out of it. I promise you. Share this with your friends and family that don't know what's going on, because all we did today was talk truth. We don't have an ulterior motive. We're not doing anything crazy. I'm just telling you truth. I'm telling it from my heart, and I'm trying to inform my friends and family that are watching that what could happen today. I don't know what will happen. I have no idea. If I knew that, I would have won the lottery a long time ago and be living on an island somewhere. But be kind to each other. Turn off the lying media. Come watch me tomorrow with Paul Hebert. I see you guys. Thank you all for tuning in today. What an incredible show because of all of you and fishingbooker.com. Can't do this without all of you. I appreciate all of you so, so much. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family's heart. And we will see you tomorrow with the great Paul Hebert. Have a great day. Pay attention.